Um, well, smashing satellites is kind of just, it's my interpretation of the world right now, almost in a way. I feel like technology's kind of taken over human existence and human connection. And when I think of the world right now, I just always have this vision of a picture of the globe and then just giant satellites kind of covering it. Just communication between people is a lot different now than it was many years ago, and that kind of just inspired the whole theme of the band. I just, to be honest, I just wanted to do something different, and I feel like I've always been writing songs like this, and this is the direction I wanted my life to go in, my musical journey to go in, and sometimes you just need change. Mick?
I had like a lot of older rock, but quite an eclectic mix of stuff too. Like a lot of old, like 50s and 60s kind of pop stuff. Beach Boys.
If you hold the microphone down here.
No one's gonna hear. That's true. That's true. Well, why don't you answer the question?
I was into the Beach Boys. I'm kidding.
Into the Beach Boys. Can you hear me now? And yeah, just a lot of 70s rock stuff. Yeah, that's kind of what I grew up on.
The best part about that whole thing was, after I pointed that out, you still
put it down. Yeah.
Here, I'll show you guys.
For me, I grew up listening to Elvis Presley almost exclusively for like 10 years. And then my dad was a high school music teacher, and one of his students bought him Nirvana's Nevermind for Christmas. And my dad listened to it and thought, I don't know what this is, and he gave it to me. And it's like, it's kind of a cliche, but it's so true. Like, that record opened my mind. I was like, can he scream on a recording? He can't do that. So I never looked back. So a lot of that 90s grunge stuff was kind of my kicking off point.
Yeah,
I was just kidding, by the way. Mike actually thinks I'm upset at him. For me, it was like a mix between like 90s rock and 70s rock and pop. I had two older sisters that are 10 and 12 years older than me. So when I was younger, I was listening to their music, and at the time that was like Soundgarden and Placebo and Nirvana. Spice Girls, Bush. But then my mom was showing me a lot of stuff like Michael Jackson, the Bee Gees. I got into artists like Bob Marley and really loved the Chili Peppers. I think Mick and I played in bands together since we were kids, since we were really young. And that was like a huge influence for every band we had ever been in. So that's mine. Mike?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, just to touch on Sal, Michael Jackson for sure. Queen. Yeah, of course. Mike is the most popular name. Well, it once was. Yeah, definitely MJ, Queen, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Nirvana. And, you know, to this day, you still get inspired by, you know, a lot of the artists that you tour with and you play with. So, yeah, always getting inspired by everybody.
When I was really young and first learning piano, I took an Archie comic where Archie wrote a love song for Betty Cooper, who was always my favorite of, you know, his love interests. And I took the lyrics from it and I put it into a song, and then I played it at school and told everybody I wrote it. So it was kind of plagiarism, but there was no like melody or anything in the comic. So that was the first song I learned. It was by Archie Andrews.
Mine was Swallowed by Bush, actually. Yeah. That was the first song I learned, and it was the first song I ever performed at a music recital. And I'm pretty sure I just played it so horribly, but it was my first song I ever learned. So, and then I think Smells Like Teen Spirit after that.
Yeah, I think on piano, my first one was "Let It Be" by the Beatles, probably, and probably also pretty terrible too. But yeah.
Dookie by Green Day.
The whole record. Debaser by Fugazi.
I'd have to say, oh man, that's a tough question.
Stairway to Heaven.
Oh, maybe,
That's like
I don't know.
stumper of a question.
That's a really hard question.
Tough one.
You know, actually, I do know. Since I've Been Loving You by Led Zeppelin. That's probably one of my favorite all-time songs. So that's for me, yeah.
Maybe Under Pressure. Maybe that one. Pick one.
Beat It by Michael Jackson.
I'm really into playing Gambling Man right now, which is our first single off an EP that's coming up. It's a little tasty treat preview of what's coming, and we've been getting some love at radio with it, so people know the song, and it's definitely like that's a highlight for me, for sure.
For me, I'd have to say a new track called You're Gone that hasn't come out yet. And I think most of the new stuff that we've written recently, just because we've played the older stuff for a year now, or a year and a half, and it's exciting to just play new material. But that song specifically, I'm having a lot of time playing it live.
Yep, we're just doing a little interview here.
Mine would probably be Waterfall. Yeah, just that one's a lot of fun for me.
And again, I've had a lot of time to think about this. And no, Gamble Man, the new single. It just the elements in it. It's just really more in my vein of of just rocking, bringing the rock every night.
I think one time we were doing an interview on our bus, and the driver came in and kind of yelled at us. Hi, Rob.
He loves us.
I think it was that. It's got to be that. Yeah.
I think it was probably like our first show, because you work so hard rehearsing and practicing, and you build up all these nerves over months and months and months, and then you hit stage for the very first time. And I think for us it was the Hard Rock in Toronto.
Yeah.
And I feel like we just killed that show, and it like kind of got out most of the insecurities like I had at the time of whether or not we were good, because we got on stage and I think we just killed it. And so it was like a confidence builder as well. So for me, that was the best one so far.
Specific show probably for me was 21 Pilots in Detroit. That was a really good one. Really, really fun. Good crowd.
My favorite show that we've played would have been in Detroit. We played with Bush and Our Lady Peace, and I grew up listening to those bands and knowing their albums from front to back. So to be able to be on a bill with them and play on the same stage at the same time, and then sit back and then listen to them rock their tunes, that would most definitely be my favorite. I have a shot of Jameson, and then I have to bounce my drumstick off the ground as high as I possibly can. That's what I have to do, and they probably see me do it and wondering what the heck I'm doing. That's the personal one. 20 feet.
For me, I'm usually in my bunk with this giant humidifier that I have blowing in my face. And that's pretty much it. That's what I do. That's my ritual.
Anybody being antisocial.
No, not. Well, yeah, I guess a little bit antisocial again. Yeah. I like to like zen myself out before a show, get mentally prepared. But then as a band, to be honest, before we play a show, it's usually chaos all the time.
That's crazy.
Everyone's like running around and like sweating, and then like, hey, dude, we got to be on in like 30 seconds, and like guitar's not even there. So usually just fucking chaos.
Before a show, I always like to say, "Where's Mick? Where is Mick?"
I'm usually running and sweating somewhere.
Micking around.
Okay, yeah, we say micking around.
Yeah. No, you pretty much answered.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, for drums, I'd have to say Pearl drums. They're my favorite. Evans drum heads. Sabian cymbals. Vader drumsticks. I think, did I miss any? No, they're my favorite companies. I mean, they support me well. They're great. Been playing them ever since I was a child, so it was only seemed fitting to to continue on with these brands and companies that I've been playing ever since I was a little tyke.
Yeah, I play a Bass One guitar. He's a guy in Vancouver who makes them. They're totally great. And I use in-ear monitors by Plunge Audio, another great Canadian company. Super good. A bunch of us do, actually.
I'm gonna say Plunge too. They make our in-ears and they're really good. It's like a little one guy,
Yeah.
and he literally just makes the in-ear.
Love in-ear.
Yeah, it's insane. This guy actually loves making in-ears. Really good in-ears. And then I really like G&L guitars. I just think they're just really badass. And then Fender as well. Like you can't go wrong with Fender.
Yeah. Again, Simon from Plunge Audio. I love his stuff. And modular spaces is kind of what I use. And then Yamaha keyboards when I'm playing keyboards. Yeah. The keytar is not right now, no, unfortunately. But I'm gonna have to figure that out because I like Yamaha stuff.
He's a.
How it worked? I don't know.
We were like, for Waterfall, we were like, 'cause it's like that main part was recorded on a keyboard, and he used to play it on a keyboard, and we're like, dude, I wonder how cool it would be if you played it on a guitar. We were kind of like half joking, but then he put it on.
It looks right.
And he rocked, and we're like, I'm kind of impressed. Like, you can play the guitar, because I know if I put a guitar on, I'd look like an idiot. So it works out.
I'd probably do the first one because I'm curious to see like what was up with that. I don't know. I don't remember it, so I'd like to redo it.
A lot of shitty diapers, probably.
Oh yeah, that's true. Sal knows right now.
Yeah. Mike, what about you?
I would relive my 19th birthday because that is the first year you were able to legally drink in Canada.
I'd have to say probably when I was like 8 years old, and my sister surprised me with my first guitar, and I still have it, and I still use it all the time. It's a black acoustic guitar, and I remember I played piano before that, and I always wanted a guitar. And not that my parents didn't want me to play guitar, but my sister really wanted me to play guitar because she was into all these rock bands. She wanted me to learn her favorite songs. And I'll just never forget like grabbing that guitar the very first time, and it kind of just changed my entire life.
Probably when I was sort of similar to Sal, probably when I was 15, because that's when I started really like playing drums and bass a lot and learning a lot of songs, and it was just really exciting. And guitar. I was starting to. It was a thought. It was a thought that was developed. But yeah, probably that.
A calm state of mind. To be honest, my brain's always all over the place, and I cannot get my shit together in my head sometimes. And to a certain extent, I like that because I feel like it helps with being creative and writing songs. But when I'm not doing that, it just fucks your life up a lot, I find. So I think if I had one ability, it would be to just stop my thoughts and just literally have a completely empty mind.
Same. Yeah. Thanks, all of us. That sounds good.
Superhuman. I would probably fly. I don't need a calm state of mind at all.
With like guitar wings?
I would want to be able to plant apple seeds and watch them grow.
I would just want to be able to breathe fire.
Nice. That's all right. Yeah, exactly.
I was in the last stages of becoming a university professor, and then I decided to do this instead. I stand by that.
Honestly, something in the arts to some extent. I would have probably developed some other type of artistic skill and rolled with that. I can't really imagine myself doing anything else that isn't in the arts, to be honest.
Probably a professional hobo. Yeah, I can't really do anything else, so that'd probably be it.
I would want to be a professional guitar player. As you can see, I set my drums up as far as I can to the front of that stage, whether they like it or not, but a guitar player so that I can be right up on stage. Because right now I'm sitting back about 5 feet. I need that extra 5 feet.